Hello and welcome to News Channel Nebraska. My name is Luke Stera. Let's get you some headlines today. A Stanton County man is behind bars after nearly hitting the county sheriff while speeding down a residential area on a four-wheeler Saturday night. Steven Svados was seen driving a four-wheeler recklessly, running multiple stop signs down a residential street around 8 o'clock Saturday night. Sheriff Mike Unger was walking in the area before attempting to flag down Svados. He did not stop, fleeing the area and nearly hitting Unger while there were children in the area. Authorities found tire tracks out of Stanton and into the Hoskins area. Svados turned himself in after authorities contacted him via cell phone. Svados is facing numerous charges, including willful reckless driving and driving while intoxicated. After a search of his home, authorities also found a shotgun, which he is not legally allowed to have. He's being held at the Stanton County Jail. And a grass fire in greater Nebraska has caused over 700 acres of damages. This is a picture of the fire in Dalton, about an hour away from the Wyoming border. Dalton firefighters tell News Channel Nebraska it started on Saturday around 1:30. Crews responded to a report of smoke northwest of the town. In just 2 hours, around 500 acres were burned, and 30 minutes later, it grew to 700 acres. Authorities are still trying to figure out the cause of the blaze. And new text messages show local law enforcement flagged former President Donald Trump's shooter more than 90 minutes before the rally. That's according to the New York Times, citing evidence Senator Chuck Grassley obtained. Those messages indicate a local sniper reported seeing someone park and sit at a nearby picnic table. Local law enforcement also took a picture of the person half an hour after, and he turned out to be the eventual shooter. One message notes someone saw the suspect holding a rangefinder and looking towards the stage. Senator Grassley's office did not immediately return a request for comment. And a massive wildfire is raging out of control in California, becoming the state's 7th largest fire in its history. Authorities have arrested a 42-year-old man accused of sparking the massive blaze. Julia Vargas Jones has the details.
6 days on, and the park fire has turned parts of Northern California into ash, ripping right through wooded, hard-to-reach areas. This family's entire compound of 3 homes destroyed. Everything they had, they say, lost.
Team 2 en route.
These volunteers with the North Valley Animal Disaster Group search for animals left behind in the rush of evacuation.
All right, let's go find us some piggies.
The calls come from people faced with the impossible split-second decision to save themselves or their animals.
These are very social goats. Goats are very social animals.
Once rescued, they are brought to this shelter where they're cared for while families deal with grief and loss.
2 families that had lost their homes and lost everything and most of their animals. And, you know, when they're in tears, you can't help but just have tremendous empathy.
While some homes will be spared, those who have experienced the reality of a fire in recent years explain that returning to a world of wreckage comes with immense challenges.
Being a resident of Paradise, we had the campfire in 2018, evacuated from that and found out that our home actually survived. Both neighbors on each side of us, homes did not make it. We had water issues, we had smoke damage issues and that kind of stuff. So we didn't actually return till after a year.
Park fire victims could soon face the same fate. Julia Vargas Jones, Chico, California.
It's a worry for many young Americans, and a new poll shows renters' thoughts on owning a house, it's not in the plans for them. That's according to a new CNN poll. 86% of current residents say they would like to buy a home but can't afford one. 54% of those say they think they'll never be able to afford a home. The housing market is currently facing an affordability crisis because of surging home prices and high mortgage rates. Younger Americans are more hopeful. 53% of those younger than 45 believe the situation will change, compared to their counterparts at 32% of people older than 45. And the new University of Nebraska president, Dr. Jeffrey Gold, is kicking off a statewide tour around Nebraska Monday. He started his new role on July 1st, and he's beginning his tour of a dozen Nebraska cities over 5 days. He starts in Nebraska City Monday and finishes up on Friday in Scotts Bluff. Gold is wanting input on how to grow the university. He says the conversations will help guide the university's next chapter. Other topics to be discussed include business, education, and agriculture problems in Nebraska. And with the Olympics underway in Paris, some of the greatest athletes in the world are set to collide, all with the dream of a gold medal. But at a lesser scale, high school athletes are preparing for the start of their seasons as we near the start of August, and too much emphasis on sports can lead to burnout. Mandy Gaither has tips on how to help young athletes handle emotions that come from competition.
Learning teamwork, getting exercise, boosting social skills. These are just some of the benefits of kids playing sports, but there are potential downsides too.
When they are using the sport as the only way to define who they are and what they like to do, that can sometimes lead to those feelings of burnout.
As a pediatric psychologist at Nationwide Children's Hospital, Catherine Butts works with young athletes to help develop healthy relationships with their sport.
You've got a lot of these club teams where the engagement in sport is all year, and so there's not really that much of a break for anything else. Or you've got kids who take the sport really seriously and they love it, but they might be setting high expectations for themselves.
Butts says that can lead to stress, anxiety, mood changes, and other mental health problems. That's why she says busy athletes should prioritize downtime and self-care and focus on getting enough good quality sleep, staying hydrated, and not skipping meals. Butts says parents can also help include children in decisions made about their participation in a sport, listen when they want to talk, focus on the positive. What did they gain from a loss or poor performance? And model a good life balance by making self-care a priority too.
But we also want to make sure that we're noticing early on if kids are taking things too seriously, that we're emphasizing the need for enjoyment and fun.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
He's one of the most sought-after football prospects in the state, and most people know him in Omaha, but family ties brought him to Northeast Nebraska for a youth camp. Outside linebacker Christian Jones is the top-ranked recruit in Nebraska and a top 100 recruit in the nation, according to ESPN. He is a West Side Warrior, but his family is from Osmond, and his dad played on the field where the camp was held. As talented as he is, Jones believes football goes beyond the field and looks for opportunities to help kids learn the sport he loves.
I'm very, very grateful to be even in this spot, to even have this interview. And without that, I wouldn't be able to have this. Just being here for the kids, because the community did a lot for me. When I play football, and they always show love, and they're always right there for me, so I'm ready to give back.
High school coaches and current Cornhusker players made the trip to Northeast Nebraska to help with the 3rd through 8th grade football camp, with some kids traveling as far as Colorado. With the regular season just around the corner and visits to college campuses across the country, Jones says his visits help give something to take back to the Warriors.
So I would say just being able to pick their brains, all the drills, just little small information that'll help me, and so I can then in order get back to my team and share that with my team so we can all get better.
Jones currently has offers from many Power 5 schools like Oklahoma, Iowa, Auburn, and Nebraska. As far as the Warriors this season, Westside is coming off back-to-back state championships, and Jones hopes to continue that success into the fall. And moving on into the professional level, from Big 12 champion to UFL MVP, former Husker Adrian Martinez is heading to the Big Apple for the fall season. The New York Jets announced Martinez's signing early Saturday. He most recently played for the Birmingham Stallions in the United Football League, where he passed for over 1,700 yards and 15 touchdowns en route to a championship. This is Adrian Martinez's second time in the NFL. He spent last season with the Detroit Lions during the preseason. And thanks for joining us here. Be sure to head over to our Facebook and Instagram pages, and you can find us on X as well to stay up to date with the latest news in the state. This is News Channel Nebraska.